What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. It's the 3rd anniversary of AEW Dynamite, so what will Tony Khan do to celebrate the occasion? Join us now as we look at this week's edition of AEW, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including a real backstage fight, Andrade wants to get fired, a popular faction heading to SmackDown, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out Wrestlelamia.co.uk and our non-wrestling channel, Incredible. Now, as always, we won't recap the matches, but just look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good as a number 1 a TNT Championship defense. Wait, there's a TNT Championship defense? Yeah, now as we pointed out, as well as Wardlow's many fans, AEW's booking of Wardlow has been awful, with his handling of the TNT Championship making things even worse. Wardlow's title defenses have been rare, and when he puts the belt on the line, it's been against some questionable competition. But not last night, as AEW dug up Brian Cage, and we're surprised he's still in AEW, giving Wardlow some credible opposition. While Cage's booking has been piss poor, at least he presented the illusion of providing some competition from Mr. Mayhem. Wardlow also got the chance to show that he's more than a brawling brute, he's capable of some gravity-defying feats, more akin to Darby Allin or Sammy Guevara. Number 2, Moxley's badass promo. And whether you think Bryan Danielson should be AEW World Champion instead of Jon Moxley, Moxley has done a great job letting opponents know that regardless of whether or not he respects you, he'll be all business once the bell rings. This is ideal as it allows Mox to battle babyfaces and heels alike with equal ferocity. Moxley shows this when he beat his Blackpool Combat Club brother Bryan Danielson at Grand Slam, and you can bet he'll be just as brutal when he steps into the ring with Page next week. Moxley's booking and his persona are a fantastic example of how to book a badass babyface champion without compromising. Number 3, some mighty fine matches. Now, Triple H has stepped up WWE's TV programming by featuring more quality matches, but there's no doubt that AEW has this down to a science. AEW has a string of solid matches last night from bell to bell, as well as the segments and interviews it needed to advance storylines. Number 4, Nux Nostalgia. And Lord Regal broke out the brass knuckles last night, a delightful dose of nostalgia for fans familiar with the English villain's past. Regal's wrestling days are over, but he's no grandpa relaxing on his rocking chair. He's still a bad man who's not to be trifled with. The Blackpool Combat Club is a reminder that babyfaces don't have to be booked as pussycats, and that there are some people you'd better think twice about before crossing their path. Number 5, National Scissoring Day. Let's get one thing out of the way first. National Scissoring Day is corny AF. But nonetheless, sometimes things are so over the top that fans can't help but to appreciate them, especially when the presentation is handled with perfection. Just as Daddy Ass helped make the Billy and Chuck tag team a success, with credit to Chuck Palumbo as well, he and the Acclaimed made this goofy gimmick work. Number 6, Jay Lethal face turn. Jay Lethal's apparent face turn is another example of Tony Khan not being afraid to admit defeat and changing up booking that hasn't worked out. Sanjay Dutt and Jay Lethal seemed like a good heel combo, but for whatever reason, it's fallen flat. Having Lethal turn face could work, as Black Machismo has shown he can work well as a babyface. A Lethal babyface turn could especially help out if Tony Khan gets a weekly TV show for Ring of Honor, and The Amazing Ocho. Chris Jericho's campaign to destroy Ring of Honor's legacy continues to be a weekly highlight on AEW as he aggravates Ring of Honor fans with finding new ways to break the code of honor through heel tactics. Jericho must be a millionaire through merchandise sales in light of his knack for coming up with a new persona for himself. As much as we like the fireball throwing antics of the Wizard, his new persona looks like it's going to be even better. But that was a good. What about the bad? Is number 1 MJF face turn? Now, the AEW Galaxy loves MJF, but does that mean he should be playing a babyface? While wrestling has seen some of its greatest heels turn babyface, the results have been mixed as heels often lose the edge that have made them so appealing once they turn babyface. Now, we just mentioned how Moxley can play a babyface while still kicking tail in the ring, but what about MJF? Last night's match against Wheeler Yuta was a reminder of what a fantastic worker MJF is, but the man's gimmick is based on him being a complete asshole. If AEW turns him babyface, it'll need to do more than to book him against wrestlers the fans just don't like. If they give up on one of its best heels, the payoffs just don't seem worth it. The only glimmer of hope is that if anyone can pull this off, it's the Salt of the Earth. Number 2, Page's pathetic push. A Hangman Adam Page vs Moxley should be a fantastic match next week, but is there any question who is going to emerge victorious? The match should mean so much more, but AEW has booked Page in such a lukewarm fashion over the last year that even his recent run as AEW World Champ doesn't make him stand out as a worthy opponent. Number 3, this was an anniversary show. Now, this was a strong episode of Dynamite, but it didn't feel like an anniversary show. AEW should have added more titles on the line or booked at least one marquee match. Again, we're not saying the show was weak, it was just that fans were likely expecting more as AEW celebrated 3 years on the air. There was nothing downright ugly as Dynamite put on another strong episode, just nothing that seemed worthy of an anniversary show. AEW usually puts on solid editions at Dynamite, which makes it difficult to book special editions without making them into smaller pay-per-views. Nonetheless, if you're going to raise fans' expectations, well, you need to deliver. What would you guys think of Dynamite this week? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news. Now first we look at a real backstage fight in AEW. At top of the news today is a backstage fight between Sammy Guevara and Andrade. Guevara and Andrade have exchanged barbs on social media over the last week, so this incident wasn't a surprise. Still, there are two very different stories about this dust-up, but what isn't in dispute is that AEW sent Andrade home and let Sammy Guevara wrestle with Chris Jericho against Bryan Danielson and Daniel Garcia. Now here's what we know so far. TMZ Sports reported, sources tell us words were exchanged and then things turned physical. Sammy allegedly pushed Andrade and punches were thrown, according to our sources. It's unclear if anyone was hit. Our sources are adamant that the altercation was not part of an AEW storyline. Our sources say several wrestlers were pissed at Sami Zayn for publicly airing personal private issues, and things just boil over at the arena. Meltzer also chimed in saying, Andrade is trying to get fired. There's a few people, and it's not that many, it's like 3 that want to leave AEW, and Andrade is one of them. Tuesday night they were talked to, both of them, and they were told no fighting. Andrade was told, you're not going to get fired if you fight, but you will be sent home. And Andrade said, don't worry, nothing's going to happen. There's going to be no fighting. Sammy said the same thing. Nothing's going to happen. They had security there, everybody was warned ahead of time. Now there was some confusion among fans after they learned Andrade and Guevara had a backstage scrap, particularly when Andrade was sent home and Guevara wasn't. There were also questions about why Guevara was involved in a second altercation. Recall Eddie Kingston was quietly suspended after going after Sammy backstage. Fans also asked why AEW not only kept Sammy on TV, but he had him score the win in his Chris Jericho match against Danielson and Garcia. But according to Meltzer, AEW feels justified in its decision. Andrade was waiting in the hallway, he got 2 punches in before it was broken up and Sammy didn't fight back. Andrade did throw 2 punches and then it was broken up right away and Andrade was sent home. It was broken up immediately, people were there and people saw it. Andrade hit him, Sammy didn't hit him, Andrade was sent home. Sammy wasn't sent home. Sammy didn't do anything wrong, it was basically a blindside sucker punch. Now as Meltzer pointed out, Sammy didn't help himself by scorching social media comments. Guevara was talked to and hopefully these situations don't happen again. The adage where there's smoke there's fire makes you wonder why Guevara has been involved in 2 backstage incidents now. At 29, he should know how to behave himself on social media, but short of this being a work, which seems like a bad idea as AEW is still dealing with the alleged brawl involving CM Punk and the Elite, they should discipline Guevara. If Andrade is trying to get fired, AEW might consider keeping him at home, just to spite him in the WWE, which likely would hire him back with Triple H running creative. Next up, WWE Changing Up RAW. Our reports are coming in that WWE is planning some changes during Raw's season premiere this Monday. WrestleVotes recently tweeted, I'm told to expect a commentary change on Raw with the season premiere this coming week. Other minor aspects of both shows are also set to get altered as well. Now there have been no reports as to whether the minor changes include new sets or redresses of the sets. And finally, an NXT faction heading to SmackDown. And last but not least, fans of NXT's Legado del Fantasma stable may be happy to hear that PW Insider is reporting that the faction is headed to SmackDown and could debut as early as the 7th October season premiere. The faction is made up of Santos Escobar, Joaquin Wilde, Elektra Lopez and Raul Mendoza and presumably will remain together when they debut. But there you have it folks, I'll look at Dynamite this week as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.